Okay, I'm on the third Tuesday, and we talk about regrets. The next Tuesday, I arrived with the normal bags of food. Pasta with corn, potato salad, apple cobbler, and something else, a Sony tape recorder. I want to remember what we talk about, I told Maury. I want to have your voice so I can listen to it later. When I'm dead? Don't say that. He laughed. Mitch, I'm going to die, and sooner, not later. He regarded the new machine. So big, he said. I felt intrusive, as reporters often do, and I began to think that the tape recorder between two people who were supposedly friends was a foreign object, an artificial ear. With all the people clamoring for his time, perhaps I was trying to take a little too much away from these Tuesdays. Listen, I said, picking up the recorder. We don't have to use this. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, he stopped me, wagged a finger, then hooked his glasses off his nose, letting them dangle on a string around his neck. He looked me square in the eye. Put it down, he said. I put it down. Mitch, he continued softly now, you don't understand. I want to tell you about my life. I want to tell you before I can't tell you anymore. His voice dropped to a whisper. I want someone to hear my story. Will you? I nodded. We sat quietly for a moment. So, he said, is it turned on? Now the truth is, the tape recorder was more than nostalgia. I was losing Maury. We were all losing Maury. His friends, his family, his ex-students, his fellow professors, his pals from the political discussion groups that he loved so much, his former dance partners, all of us. And I suppose tapes like photographs and videos are a desperate attempt to steal something from Death's suitcase. But it was also becoming clear to me, through his courage, his humor, his patience, and his openness, that Maury was looking at life from a very different place than anyone else I knew. A healthy place. A more sensible place. And he was about to die. If some mystical clarity of thought came when you looked death in the eye, then I knew Maury wanted to share it. And I wanted to remember it for as long as I could. First time I saw Maury on Nightline, I wondered what regrets he had once he knew that his death was imminent. Did he lament his lost friends? Would he have done much differently? Selfishly, I wondered if I were in his shoes, would I be consumed with sad thoughts of all that I had missed? Would I regret the secrets I had kept hidden? When I mentioned this all to Maury, he nodded. It's what everyone worries about, isn't it? What if today were my last day on Earth? He studied my face, and perhaps he saw an ambivalence about my own choices. I had this vision of me keeling over at my desk one day, halfway through a story, my editor snatching the copy even as the medics carried my dead body away. Mitch, Maury said. I shook my head and said nothing. But Maury picked up on my hesitation. Mitch, he said, the culture doesn't encourage you to think about such things until you're about to die. We're so wrapped up with egotistical things, career, family, having enough money, meeting that mortgage, getting a new car, fixing the radiator when it breaks. We're involved in trillions of little acts just to keep going. So we don't get into the habit of standing back and looking at our lives and saying, is this all? Is this all I want? Is there something missing? He paused. You need someone to probe you in that direction. It just won't happen automatically. I knew what he was saying. We all need teachers in our lives. And mine, he was sitting right in front of me. Fine, I figured. If I was to be the student, then I would be as good a student as I could be. On the plane ride home that day, I made a small list on a yellow legal pad. Issues and questions that we all grapple with. From happiness to aging to having children to death. Of course, there were a million self-help books on these subjects and plenty of cable TV shows and $90 per hour consultation sessions. America had become a Persian bazaar of self-help. But there still seemed to be no clear answers. Do you take care of others or take care of your inner child? Return to traditional values or reject tradition as useless? Seek success or seek simplicity? Just say no or just do it? All I knew was this. Maury, my old professor, wasn't in the self-help business. He was standing on the tracks, listening to death's locomotive whistle. And he was very clear about the important things in life. I wanted that clarity. every confused and tortured soul I knew wanted that clarity. Ask me anything, Maury always said. So I wrote this list. Death, fear, aging, greed, marriage, family, society, forgiveness, a meaningful life. The list was in my bag when I returned to West Newton for the 4th time. A Tuesday in late August when the air conditioning at the Logan Airport terminal was not working, and people fanned themselves and wiped sweat angrily from their forehead, and every face I saw looked ready to kill somebody. Alright, we're going back in a flashback. By the start of my senior year, I have taken so many sociology classes, I'm only a few credits shy of a degree. Maury suggests I try an honors thesis. Me, I ask. What would I write about? What interests you, he says. We bat it back and forth until we finally settle on, of all things, sports. I begin a year-long project on how football in America has become ritualistic, almost a religion, an opiate for the masses. I have no idea that this is training for my future career. I only know that it gives me another once-a-week session with Maury. And with his help, by spring, I have a 112-page thesis. Researched, footnoted, documented, and neatly bound in black leather. I show it to Maury with the pride of a little leaguer rounding the bases on his first home run. Congratulations, Maury says. I grin as he leafs through it, and I glance over around his office, the shelves of books, the hardwood floor, the throw rug, the couch. I think to myself that I have just about sat every single place there is to sit in this room. I don't know, Mitch, Maury muses, adjusting his glasses as he reads. With work like this, we may have to get you back here for grad school. Yeah, right, I say. I snicker, but the idea is momentarily appealing. Part of me is scared of leaving school. Part of me wants to go desperately. Tension of opposites. I watch Maury as he reads my thesis, and I wonder what the big world will be like out there. All right, I'm going to stop there, and we are going to go on to the audio-visual part 2 in just a second.